So today is the Feast of the Ascension, or at least Ascension Sunday. That means that it's our patronal feast, our feast day, and we are to celebrate with extra joy. It is a peculiar calling that we have to be named after the Ascension, because the Ascension is itself such a mystery. What really happened? How did it happen? I was driving by a river this morning on my way to church, and the river was covered with fog. And I thought to myself, how much better it would have been if Luke had written the story that Jesus didn't ascend into the clouds, but just kind of disappeared into the fog. That's much more understandable, and to me, much more realistic, that he just drifted off into the fog rather than drifted up with his feet dangling from the clouds. It's a hard concept, this ascension, and I would like to be able to say that we can celebrate because 140 years ago or so, the people who founded the church chose to call it the Church of the Ascension, because they were into the mystery of the Christian faith. But I suspect they did not. I suspect that the bishop told them that this is what your church is going to be named. It's probably the same bishop who told Transfiguration they have to deal with that, and Trinity that they have to deal with that. Bishop who just wanted to give people something to think about. And so here we are, all these years later, still thinking about it. Ours important because it still has a way of gripping us. What is it that happened to Jesus? And what difference does it make to us in our lives? It was a question that was alive in all the early Christian communities. They heard the story of Jesus and his life and his death and his resurrection, and then we can almost hear them saying to the disciples, well, and then what happened? And then what happened? Where did he go? Why do we care about this nice story that you've told us about this guy in Galilee? And each of the gospel writers has their own way of dealing with that question as they're describing the Jesus event to their community. The writer, whose name we call Mark, kind of ignored it. He said that just before Jesus dies, Jesus says in Mark, well, the Son of Man will be coming on a cloud, and so you better get ready. You don't know when it's going to happen, so just stay ready all the time. And that's all Mark had to say about this. Doesn't say where he went, or how he got there, or how he's going to come back, except on a cloud. And when he gets to the resurrection, Mark says nothing about Jesus appearing or about what's going to happen next. When Matthew was addressing his congregation about what happened, he stuck with Mark in terms of this idea of Jesus coming again on a cloud. But he added the part about when he comes, there's going to be a judgment. And Jesus is going to divide the sheep and the goats. And you better not be a goat. And how is it that you become a sheep or a goat? Well, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was in prison, you visited me. You visited me. That's Matthew's portrait of how we are still in touch with Jesus after he is gone. He is present in the needy of the world, in the needs of others. And when we reach toward that need, we are reaching towards Jesus, and that's how we know his presence in the world. And then he goes on to tell the resurrection appearance of Jesus, and Jesus shows up on a mountain in Galilee and says to his disciples, go to the ends of the earth and I will be with you till the end of the age. Doesn't say exactly how that's going to be, but he says he'll be with you, and then it's over. It's not. We don't know what happens to Jesus after that. That's just the end of the speech, and that's the end of that gospel. As you know, the Gospel of John is a much more subtle portrait of what happens. For John, heaven and earth are knit together all the time. There is no barrier between heaven and earth. So Jesus can say, I'm going ahead of you to prepare a place for you. My Father's house has many rooms. I'm going to prepare one of them for you. So there is a future that he's going ahead to. But then he says, if you follow me, the Father and I will come and make our home with you. So they are present in the moment in our lives when we are faithful to Jesus. Luke is the most historical of them. That doesn't mean it's the most accurate, it just means that he has a sense of history. And Luke writes 2 books. And the first book is how the Holy Spirit fell on Jesus in baptism and propelled his entire ministry through to the resurrection. And the second book is about how the Holy Spirit falls upon his followers in Pentecost and propels them through to the end of the earth and the end of time. And the junction of these 2 books that he writes is the Ascension. He ends the Gospel with it. He begins with the book of Acts with it. This is the glue between Christ's ministry and our ministry. He's passing on the ministry that has been his into our own hands. And in another week, that same spirit of his will fall on all of us. And Paul, on the other hand, as you just heard in that second reading there, has this vision of Christ as a cosmic Christ. He's ascended to heaven. He sits up there. The earth is his footstool. And the church is his body. Paul never talks about Jesus. He talks about Christ and what it means to belong to Christ. And from the very beginning makes that cosmic connection with the ends of the universe. So, there you have 5 writers with 5 different ways of understanding this. So if you don't understand it, it's okay. So the question is, how do you understand it? What's your experience of Christ? What do you think became of this historical figure? And what does your life have to do with this guy who lived 2,000 years ago? What happened to him? And how is he present to you, or to us, or to the world in our own day? How do you think it? Well, I don't know how you think it. But however you think it, it's okay. Because this is the essential question that we all wrestle with in our faith, is how do we understand our relationship with Christ historically, and how do we understand our relationship with the living God now? And however we understand it is the way God is at work in us, because there isn't a right answer. There wasn't a right answer for any of those writers, and there's not a right answer for you or for me. It is in wrestling with this ourselves. How can it be that this man, 2,000 years ago, is still alive to us? How can it be that that should make any difference in how we live our lives, in how we live into the next moment? How does it make a difference for you? That is the proclamation that God is making in the world right now. The proclamation that God is making, as surely as God was making it through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Paul, is your life. And that's the joy of this ascension. because it's just a mystery for each of us to live in